My name is Shashi. Welcome to Tauke Talks, a series of sharing sessions where we invite local Taukes to share about their experiences in different topics surrounding entrepreneurship in Malaysia. So this sharing session is brought to you by RYSE, a Malaysian research and social outreach project that empowers youth through entrepreneurship and employability programs. So RYSE is supported by Citi Foundation, and this year we aim to highlight stories of Taukes addressing different issues of topics in starting and sustaining their business. So we hope that through these sharing sessions, it will encourage fellow budding entrepreneurs to continue preserving in their dreams of building a business in Malaysia. So I'm really happy to welcome our guest of the day, Mr. Moorgan from Zangabir. So welcome to Tauke Talks, Moorgan. We are truly honored to have you here today with us.
Yeah, hi, good evening.
All right. So maybe before we start our interview questions, could you briefly introduce about yourself? Yeah.
Okay, sure. So my name is Moorgan. I'm 25 currently. I was a former participant with RYSE last year. And then I graduated last year with RYSE, and since then I've been running my own ginger beer business. Well, I guess a little bit about my background is I'm an English language graduate. Yeah, but now I'm running my ginger beer business.
That's interesting. So can you briefly tell us about your Zangabir business that you are doing?
Yeah. So Zangabir is, I guess, what you would call an artisanal beverage company, but we're currently specializing in ginger beers only. We do have a number of other beverages that we plan to be releasing soon. But currently, what we have in terms of our products that is being sold to the public is we have 4 different flavors of our ginger beer, which is our lemon ginger, our ginger cow, which is like, double ginger, yeah, and then a hibiscus and a pandan one. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned just now, like you were an English major and then you're running your business. So how that transition sort of happened from being an English major to starting a Zangabir business?
I don't know if there was ever any like a very obvious transition, because I've always been interested in food and beverage, like cooking, is like making drinks is all part of my passion, my hobby. So throughout uni, even while I'm studying, like I'm still pursuing this hobby, and I've always wanted to somehow be a part of the F&B industry. In some way or rather, I never actually pictured myself actually starting a business related to it. I just know I wanted to be within the industry. But I joined the RYSE program, and then learning about entrepreneurship and seeing that it's kind of interesting. I guess that gave me the courage to take the leap, and then that's how I started. Yeah.
So that would be the inspiration, is it? Is there like anything else that inspired you particularly to start your own business?
I guess you could say the only inspiration is that I just really enjoy making something and giving it to people and seeing their reaction. So like one of the things that I was learning during the RYSE program was doing market research, right? And then so when you're giving people to test out your products and seeing their reactions and collecting feedback, getting that kind of positive feedback sort of served as the inspiration, like, okay, yeah, this is something that I would enjoy doing.
So can you walk us through a bit, like what was the beginning of your entrepreneurship journey and what it was like?
So my entrepreneurship planning, is it?
Your entrepreneurship journey, like
Journey.
you started with RYSE Online. So how did it begin after
that? So I do, like I said, hobbies. My hobby is cooking. So I have been like dabbling and doing a lot of like making my own drinks and things like this. But when I started with RYSE, I guess it took a more serious, more methodical approach. So that's when I was like focused on, okay, like I want to create a product that I'm proud of, and that's gonna like well, there's gonna fill a certain gap in the market. right? And that's where I went with ginger beer, because initially I did plan to make some sort of more common fermented beverage like kombucha,
Mm-hmm.
but I noticed there's not many people that's making ginger beer, and for me they're both very interesting and tasty beverages to drink. So that led me to focus more on ginger beer instead. And then I guess a lot of it throughout that RYSE period was research. I was just constantly tweaking and working on my product. And then eventually, yeah, I got my SSM registered. I did my first like sale, and then my first booth. Um, and then I graduated from the RYSE program, and then it's been continuing since then. Yeah.
Okay. So how was the SSM registration process looks like for you? Was it difficult?
It was actually really simple. I just went online,
Okay.
fill up some form,
Okay.
then you pay the fees, and then that's it.
So how much did you pay for it? Was it affordable
Uh,
to start your
if
own?
I'm not mistaken, the total is supposed to be 70 for 1 year. You have to like renew it yearly, or
Okay.
you can get like a 5 years, or so on. But if I'm not mistaken, it's like 70 for the first year. But if it's your first like registered business, they waive like 50 or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is especially for the youths who are starting business, is it? The special wave.
No, I think I don't recall it having any age limit. If I'm mistaken, as long as it's your first registered business,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they do waive like the first year fee.
Mm.
So basically, like getting a business registered isn't going to cost you a lot, I guess, at the start. But if you're like depending on the industry you are, then there will be other things like certifications, or things that you need. Yeah, and those will be separate. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So right after like starting your business and then getting SSM, getting your business registered. So what were the challenges that you faced all the way like after the beginning part?
Oh, I guess the main, like my biggest issue was, I guess, sales.
Mm.
Like that was the first thing that like the first major hurdle
Mm.
that I have. And as you say, yeah, it does continue. Like sales is a major part of it, right? You need to sell to make money. But initially, I think the issue I had is sort of like a mental block, where I feel um, like I'm not a salesperson.
Okay.
I feel bad for selling, I guess, in a way.
Mhm.
Like, because most people when they start, they would, like promote to their friends and family and stuff, and get people to support their business and that kind of thing. But I honestly, like, I didn't like that. I felt sort of guilty, or like, weird to do that in the beginning. So I knew there was a lot of issues like within myself in being someone that can push my own product. And one of the mentors actually like sat me down and talked to me very like straightforward, and told me, like, you have to be confident, like you have a good product, you do you think it's good? And I was like, yeah, of course it's amazing, and you have to be confident to push it and stuff like this. So I did get out of my comfort zone by getting a part-time job in sales,
Mhm.
to sort of learn. In a way, one is to gain experience in selling, and also to learn how to sell, basically. Yeah. So that's a constant ongoing process. Yeah.
Okay. So is it a challenge that you're facing like up till now, the sales part?
Um, I would say it's a yes and no. Of course, I think it would be a constant problem, because you will always want to sell more, right? So you're always looking for, okay, how can I sell more? Uh, Even if, let's say, okay, month 1 your target was 100 bottles, and month 2 was like 500, and month 3 is like 1,000, and even though you're reaching that target, you still want to get
Mhm.
more sales. So I think, yeah, it's a learning process, a constant ongoing process.
Mhm. So speaking of sales, what was the first sales of your like of your bottles of your product after you started
My first ever one.
your first ever sales, like the number of sales?
Sorry, do you mean my first sale, or?
The number of sales, like bottles that you managed to sell at the beginning of your business.
Um, I think for like the first month, I only sold like 20 bottles. I think 20 or 50 bottles. It was less than 100 like during the first month.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I think initially, yeah, it was less than 100 first month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So that's when I was like, oh, okay, it's been 1 month and I barely sold anything, so something's wrong. Yeah, and then that's when I noticed like that's my biggest um, gap, I would say, because I was more concerned in like developing the product, and I enjoy making it, but I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't selling it well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same. Okay. So after going through the sales experience, like you said, you took a part-time job in sales. So did you notice significant changes in your sales after that?
Oh yeah, definitely, because I did my first booth shortly after that, my first uh, my first pop-up booth,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went well, and then subsequently continuing from that, it's like I always get a new experience, on a different location or different crowd of people, and then you just meet more people and you talk to more people, so I just gain experience this way. And yeah, there's definitely a big improvement, I would say, from the first time I ever did my pop up to
Mm-hmm.
the most recent one. Yeah.
Interesting. So also to ask specifically about Zangabir, right? So there are also like a lot of other drinks as well, like ginger beer, which is like could be a competitor to you also, which is a tough competition for you as well. So how do you think that your product particularly stand out in this competitive industry?
Oh, I think that was one of the most obvious thing, like initially when I developed my product, was how it looks,
Mm-hmm.
uh, in terms of my branding and my general product image. I think it's very catchy. Even when we are in public, when we're doing roadshows, we are always the most notable uh, people there. Um, because I think that's one way we set us. Like, my logo is big, it's masculine, it's sort of, it attracts people. And I put on a costume. We have a whole thing that goes around with it. And then subsequently after that, I think the thing that really separates me is taste. Is the quality of the product itself, because if I'm being very honest and frank, I genuinely think that I have the better tasting ginger beer compared to my competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but of course that's subjective to people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on a personal note, yeah, that's what I genuinely think.
That's great. So also when you firstly entered to this business, so did ever like people look down at you just because like you are young, and then you are like you have no enough experience, stuff like that? Did it happen to you?
Um, I would say there's a mixed response. I was genuinely very surprised,
Mhm.
uh, very positively surprised, actually, by how the small business community in Malaysia is. It's actually like a very tight knit, very helpful community, I feel. Um, I never had like, people trying to discourage me, or other businesses, looking at me differently just because I'm young. I do feel like they took me seriously as another business owner, and they were generally just extremely positive and helpful. But that's my personal experience, and I guess from the people that I have had a chance to meet. So I think I was very lucky in that department.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I've never had any like, obvious like negative effect from the people around me to stop me, or prevent me from doing anything. Yeah.
Mm. So as a young entrepreneur, what do you think some of the factors that extremely supported you in starting your business?
Well, I think there's a lot actually. Well, I guess the first one goes without saying is RYSE. I don't think I would have ever started it without the entrepreneurship program, because I didn't have any idea or background or knowledge on it at all.
Mm.
Um, but besides that, I think the people close to me were very supportive and helpful,
Mm.
uh, in terms of like family and friends. Um, they were always willing to like lend a hand, or, well, no one was ever actively trying to discourage me.
Mm. Mm. So the positive encouragement from the people
Yeah,
surrounding you, so it helped you to
it
elevate
definitely
that.
helped. It's not. I would be very honest. It's not easy.
Mhm.
Um, like when you're first starting out, like I said, like, okay, you'll be wondering, why you're not selling,
Yeah.
or who am I going to sell to, how am I going to sell, or what am I going to do next, what about funding, uh, what about, next month, like, do I have enough to continue the business and
Mhm.
stuff like this, right? And there's already a lot of mental stress or mental pressure that comes with it. So definitely having like a social circle that is supportive is really useful.
Mhm. Yes, I totally agree because that is eventually like the people that you can rely on during the difficult times, right? The support and hope that they give. So yes. So when the pandemic happened, right? Of course, it was like most difficult and challenging times for most of us. So what were the challenges faced by your business, particularly during the pandemic period? So how did you adapt to it?
Oh, this is weird because I started during the pandemic, right?
Okay. Hmm.
I mean, like I would say not when the pandemic started, but since I started last year, it was still going on, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I think I never needed to adapt because I started from that point.
Okay.
So originally everything was like when I started, that was already like considered as part of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like for example, like it's not like I had a physical store that needed to be closed down and so on. So I guess the main way we worked on that is just through online sales.
Hmm.
Yeah, that helped a lot. And I guess the the way like I guess the boom in like e-commerce has risen. So we sort of just like capitalized on that. There was nothing really for me to adapt to because I started uh, during the pandemic. But to add on to that, it's like but after sort of things got better and you start being able to have more events out or um, other businesses are opening and you can talk to them, try to look for collaborations and things like that. So then it does get better. But since I started from it, it was never like it was good and then it became bad. I already started from the bad position, so I just went along from there. Yeah.
So, was there an added pressure for you, like to start this business in the pandemic time? Like, was there any sort of like pessimism, or how am I gonna go through this, things like that?
Um, no, I think I always looked at it like um, it was a blessing in disguise.
Mhm.
I don't I don't think I would have started the business if the pandemic did not occur,
Okay.
to be honest, because I'm stuck at home
Mhm.
and now we have a lot of time, and then you start to like you get more time to explore your hobbies and things like that.
Mhm.
So that led to me doing what I'm doing now.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't think there was any negative effect of the pandemic to me exactly.
Nice. Okay. So, during the pandemic, like it posed some challenges. So, what do you think some of the innovative or new strategies that you applied to sort of like keep your business going and also like recover from the aftermath of the pandemic? Like things have opened up now. So, how are you adapting to it since like the market has really opened up?
Well, I think the best thing is being able to be out in public. That's huge for me because if I were to just rely on my online sales, like I was saying earlier, it's like during the first month it's hard because people don't know you or they're not going to take a leap,
Mhm.
right? No one is just going to randomly look up ginger beers on Instagram or something and then just start purchasing a product that they do not know. But once things open up, being able to like get my product out there for people to try it out, for people to test it, and just build this local um, customer base, I guess, right? That from people around me, around the areas that I go out to, it helps tremendously because these are the people that now recognize it and then through word of mouth they spread it, and then you get people that recognize you later on, and then it makes selling a product easier.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely not being trapped to your own home or not being able to go out into public has made a big improvement.
So right now you're just like focusing, trying to bring out your product to the public out there and promoting.
Yeah, definitely. Just extremely grassroots, I guess. It's not anything fancy, no any cool new marketing technique or what. It's just relying on myself as a person with my own personality and sales techniques, I guess, and
Mhm.
also on a good product, relying on a good product where people go, okay, this is something I want to buy. They like it and they purchase it. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of also like public, right? So who are your customers like primarily? Who are your target audience? So around like which age range of people always or frequently buys your product?
So I've done a couple of demographic studies every time I make my sales.
Okay.
Uh, Originally, it started really funny because my brand image was meant to be very masculine,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like with the Viking horns and the black and
Yes.
red. Even in Boost, you have like a big banner which is like a war banner and things like that.
Okay.
Um, so I was hoping to cater to a male audience
Mm.
initially, but my sales showed otherwise. It was like 90% female.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah, initially, but over time, right now, I would say it's still a large number of females, about 60%, 65% female,
Mm-hmm.
um, and but it's sort of balanced out already, with more males, and also age range wise, is I'm mostly looking at millennials, like people between the 20s to 30s. Yeah, that's my main target audience.
I see. That's interesting. Like initially when you said like 90% of
Yeah.
customers are female. Oh yes. So speaking of that, like the logo, like you're hoping that to get male customers. So do you think like branding plays an important role to sort of like set the trajectory of your business?
Yeah, definitely, because I think that's essentially what people remember you by, right? Um, I think it's very important to have a strong presence
Mhm.
in terms of your branding and your logo, because not many people is going to remember your name or your business name the first time they try it. Even if they bought your ginger beer, they went back home, they drink it, they finish it, they throw the bottles out. Um, they're not really going to remember or think, right, uh, about your brand name, I think. But very I would say very lasting image, a very good experience that they had in person, that would translate a lot to being a returning customer. And I think that helps me a lot in terms of like retaining or getting repeat customers, is because yeah, they like, normally when let's say I do like pop-ups, right? I try to do like um, at least once a month or multiple times a month, um, and someone would see me and they'll be like, oh yeah, I bought you again, the Viking horns. They just remember that. So
Mhm.
and then they'll just come back and get it again because they remember like they had a good experience the last time.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it does play a big role in, like, I guess, gaining return customers.
Mhm. That's great. So was there like an inspiration behind that logo, like that particular Viking, or even like the name
Yeah,
itself? It's quite unique, Zangabir. So was there any inspiration for that?
yeah, definitely. So, like I said, I was doing a lot of like, making my own drinks and stuff. And initially, I wanted to start with a company that was going to make alcoholic beverages, um, which was going to be like a whole Viking team, because they did this like old school, like, traditional ales and wines, that were inspired by, the Viking people, by Scandinavians.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Um, but then I pivoted into ginger beer because there was a lower barrier to entry in
Mhm.
terms of non-alcoholic beverages. Um, but I liked the image. I like um, the I would say the presence, the brand image that it brings, and I wanted my brand to reflect those kinds of things, and I want it to look strong. I want it to look imposing, you know, like brave and just be a very big presence there. Yeah, so I kept up with it initially, even though initially the idea was something else. I just kept on with it. Yeah.
And for the name Zangabir, was there like any connection?
Yeah, it's actually inspired from the word ginger.
Oh,
So multiple multiple languages, multiple um, different cultures all have a sort of variation on the word Zangabir
okay.
for the word ginger. Yeah. So you know, like extrapolating from that, like going along that lines, I went with the name Zanga beer because I'm selling a ginger beer. Yeah,
Okay. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah.
that's the problem.
Um, what would you say, like up until now, your business's proudest achievement? Like,
Oh. Um, I guess there's a few.
mm,
Uh, if well, I'll go with the most obvious one. I guess we were featured on like Free Malaysia Today.
yeah.
That was one of the first time I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's something like that really made me feel because prior to that, if you were to Google us, it wouldn't be very easy to find us. But now if you were to Google us, like if you were to Google Zangabir, that's the first thing that comes up. So I guess it made me proud in the sense that oh I'm visible now. I'm there, I exist,
Mhm,
you know. But on a personal level, I guess my proudest achievement, to be honest, is just seeing people's reactions.
mhm,
Uh, I really enjoy like giving people to try out the product,
mhm,
and then because you're in person, like you kind of get their honest, even their honest like reaction. Because if they don't like it, it's obvious in their face, right? Even if they say, "Oh no, I don't like it," but most of the time people are like, "Yeah, they genuinely enjoy it," because and most of the time they're surprised because when you say the word ginger beer, people are just like, oh no, I don't like it. I had a bad experience with it, or oh, I don't take ginger and so on. And then usually, oh no, just just give it a try. It's just a small cup, right? It's free. You're not losing out on anything. And then they do, and then they're like, oh wow, oh this is good. How much are you selling it for? And then you go to, and that's for me is something that I guess I'm very proud of. Like the product itself being able to um, make a positive like change in someone's life. I guess it's not a big thing, but they went from saying, oh, I hate ginger beer, I don't like ginger beer, to going, oh,
mhm.
it's nice, I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, speaking of that, right, like making a positive like change in customers' preferences or even in their life. So, how do you like connect with your customers, like in terms of like getting their testimonials, and then how do you keep maintain your relationship with them?
Oh, considering that we're very small now, I guess it's just very easy because we are very direct. Like I'm constantly interacting with my customers,
Okay.
either face to face or online. Um, and it's quite easy, I guess, because I'm not dealing with like 10,000 monthly customers or anything like that. But in terms of like the actions I've taken to do it, beyond just directly communicating with them, is we do have things like monthly games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like every month on our Instagram page, and then it's always something fun or interesting, and then we get people to, I guess, people who have already tried it, they've followed us, and they're watching our space. It
Mm-hmm.
gets it keeps us in the radar,
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Like even if they're not planning to buy,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't hurt. They just be like, oh, okay, it's on Instagram, just join the competition,
Mm-hmm.
make a funny caption or just share something or whatever. It's not that difficult, and people just do that, and then I guess that keeps the relationship going.
Mm-hmm. So your current existing customers are the one that were brought from you before this, or like you often get like some new customers based on through recommendations, or yeah.
Uh, I would say my channel to getting new customers is generally through in real life interaction,
Mm-hmm.
doing fast. That's the best way, I guess, I've gained customers. because they're able to meet me, they're able to see who I am, what I'm doing. You know, they can talk to me, ask me about the product, and of course, the most important thing is they can try it out.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to try it out is a big deciding factor on whether you would purchase something or not, right? Yeah. So I guess that's my like biggest growing um, uh, biggest growing channel,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to get new customers. But in terms of like returning customers, I guess it's mostly just through online. Yeah, that's how the returning customers just since they already know they like it, you know, and then they just be like, oh, can I get a box? And, yeah, and then they just order stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm, that's interesting. So we've been talking about like positive side, right? So was there like any bad reviews that you ever experienced like throughout your journey? And
Yeah,
if
definitely.
so,
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah,
how
definitely.
did it like
Uh,
impacted you?
so what is it that impacted me?
Yeah, yeah, yes. So was there like any bad reviews? So if there was, so how did it impacted you?
Oh, all right, okay. Yeah, there's definitely bad reviews. Taste is very subjective.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I've never had bad reviews. Everyone absolutely loved it. No, there's always um, a number of people that would not like it, or maybe it's not up to their taste. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think it affects me anyway, in the sense that, you know, um, I understand that taste is subjective.
Yeah.
Uh, but at the same time, I do think that I value it because it gives me sort of um, a more like a better insight into my product,
Mm-hmm.
because it allows me to see like there are certain flaws or certain things that I could tweak. Um, for example, like one of the earlier one of the earliest uh, negative feedbacks that I got was my product is sweet, right, or not gingery enough. But this is like in contrast to other people who'll be like, oh, it's too gingery, right? You can't
Balance.
you can't please everyone, right? Yeah, but looking at that, instead of just going like, oh yeah, I can't please everyone, I realized like, why not I just offer two different options, like
Mm-hmm.
one that is more spicier, more funky, more gingery, and then one that's of a milder taste profile.
Mm-hmm.
So then that led to me developing two different flavors, and then the others and so on. So yeah, I think negative reviews give me ideas, or that's how it impacts me, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's sort of like give you ways to improve and
Yeah.
mhm, great. Okay. So this is like more towards a personal question. So can you name like one entrepreneur who you admire, and can you explain like why this entrepreneur like have been such an inspiration to you?
Oh man. Okay. I like this question actually. The person who, I guess, an entrepreneur that inspired me is another one of the Taukes, one of our mentors.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, is Adi from Adi Kamal from Adi and Aida.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he does his own carpentry business. Yeah. So during the program itself, he was very supportive and nice. Always ready to answer questions and so on. He was always willing to lend a hand in any way that he could. But I guess the biggest thing was like after the program, he still served as a mentor for me and an inspiration, I guess, because he would be willing to actually meet me in person, sit down, look at things that ways that I can improve on my product or my sales, or any aspect of my business in general. And he as a person, I think, is really inspiring for me because he also had a different background, in terms of like he wanted to be a lawyer and stuff like that, but then he found his love through carpentry, and he decided to go along with it. And a lot of the steps I've taken has sort of been modeled after him and his advisors. Yeah, like he started with doing a lot of pop-ups and stuff like that also. And I sort of been going along, like following in his footsteps in a way. Yeah, so he does inspire me a lot. He's like sort of a personal, I guess, milestone or goal I have. Yeah, to be like him. Yeah.
Mhm. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, glad that
Sorry.
I'm really glad to hear that. Like, truly glad to hear that. Yeah, that at
Oh,
least, yes. So he inspired you like to this extent. So like even like up until now, are you guys like still in touch with each other? Like
yeah, definitely.
advice from.
Yeah, even if it's little things like constantly commenting on each other's stories or just liking stuff. Yeah, but we do constantly keep in touch.
Mhm. That's great. Okay. So this is for this question is like for particularly young people who are listening to Tauke Talks today. So do you think that young people should definitely start their own business, and why?
Well, I think they should, but should do it for the right reasons, I guess. If you're if you if you think you're a person that wants to start a business, you should consider why you want to do it.
Mhm.
If you're looking at it as just being a way to gain wealth, as to just earn money, I think you're in for a rough time, because the reality is not every businesses survive even the first year or get successful in the first year. Myself included, it's still a struggle constantly.
Mhm.
Uh, but I think you should do it if you if you have something you really enjoy doing, and you think that it adds value in some way or another to people or to society, and it's something that you find joy in doing it, then sure, go for it.
Mm. Okay. So speaking of that, right, they should definitely start new business for a good reason. So how do you think that for youths that who have no strong connections in entrepreneurship, or some like youths who have no background at all, how they can connect with other entrepreneurs? Like for example, you yourself like have found a mentor like Adi to help you or even like give you advice in terms of like for certain problems in your entrepreneurship journey. So how can young people do that?
Oh, I think social media is a great tool for that, right? I think the thing that we have to realize is that these other business owners are also people. They're also human, and that there are nice people and there are bad people. But I think for the most part, if you were to reach out to any local business and sort of just talk to them, I think they would be more than glad to speak to you, given that they have the time.
Mhm.
And I think that's an initiative that you should take upon yourself to look at other local businesses that have someone or have something that you think is really good, that really successful in the way they're doing it, and you want to gain some insight into it. Then just reach out to them. Social media is just such a easy thing,
Mhm.
like me myself, I think when it comes to reaching out to other businesses, I think I've messaged like thousands, like send a DM or send an email or drop a phone call,
Mhm.
and it's, yeah, it's not like you send 100 and you get like 50 replies or whatever. You might only get like 10 or even lesser, but those that do respond back to you, do interact with you, there's always something you can gain from it.
Mhm.
So I think I would say, yeah, just take that initiative to just constantly reach out
Mhm.
and try to talk to anyone that would be willing to give you some insight.
Mhm. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And also, how do you manage to find a community or even like a particular group of people in the entrepreneurship world, like who you can rely on itself?
Oh, I think, and like the energy plays a lot into that. Like your energy attracts your tribe, in a way. Like I I meet a lot of people just by interaction. Really, you just build sort of like a friendship or a sort of relationship by just genuinely interacting with them, and being like open to things. Whenever I go to any place where there are other businesses and all that, I don't shy away from attempting to start a conversation, like in any way at all. Um, Most of the time, it's not with anything in mind. I'm not going there to like specifically just, to to make a sale or to gain a collab or something like that, and if I don't get it, then it's not, sometimes I just generally go just to just say hi, just get to know them as a person. And then eventually somehow or other it comes back to being beneficial for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, because when you build this kind of relationships, maybe at that time you guys couldn't work together, or there wasn't an opportunity that presented itself, right?
Yeah.
But if you're genuinely just nice and being and interacting with them, and then later on they would, like if an opportunity presents itself, they will remember you, and then they will be like, oh yeah, like that's how a lot of times, like I get into certain events or I get into certain places just because someone remembered me, and they were like, oh yeah, this guy was nice. I think he's available. Then they will let someone else know, and then that someone else will know me, and it's just like that. Yeah.
So that's the power of like networking. Like
Yeah.
it just like
Yeah.
power.
I guess just be like, just be interested in whatever everyone else is doing.
Mhm.
Because there's a lot, for me, like, I mean, I guess for me personally, there's a lot of really cool local businesses and really amazing things that they're doing that sometimes just like, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I'm always interested to get to know them and why they're doing certain things or how they do it, maybe even learn a new skill or gain a new idea or something from it.
Mhm. That's great. Totally agree with that. So, for the final question for the interview questions, right? So, what would be your advice for young people who are planning to start their own business?
Ooh, be very well prepared, I think. uh, I guess like 90% of the work first goes in like before you even start your business. I think
Mhm.
having a very solid like idea or solid business plan and making sure you've thought of everything is really important. But yeah, but I guess whatever it is, I guess the best thing to do is just start.
Mhm.
Just start. Be well prepared, but don't be afraid to start. Yeah.
So, yeah, do you have any other advice? So that would be it, is it?
Um, no, I guess I could add on to that. Like I guess um, because I've met a few other young entrepreneurs, like or people who want to start, like they could be slightly younger than me or slightly older than me, but in their 20s, sometimes even like SPM students I've had who just come up to me and they're like, oh, you're doing this now, it's so cool and stuff like that. I also want to start something, right? And
Mhm.
then I'll be like, okay, then you talk to them, and there's always two camps. Either someone who really just have a general idea, I just want to do this, but that's it, and there's no any planning involved in it. They've never set up like an actual business plan or gone through any market research or anything like that. And then there's also someone that I think is already ready, like they already have everything, but they're just so afraid to start. So it's always just these two camps, and I think it's yeah. So that's why I say it's two things. It's be well prepared, but also don't be afraid to start, because you know um the preparation is really important so that you don't just crumble and fail immediately. But there's also a limit to how much you can plan and prepare for. Yeah, like a lot of the times, everything's a constantly growing process. Every time I encounter something, um, I just have to adapt on the spot and try to work around it. Yeah. So yeah, just I think young people, I guess, should just start. I say young people like I'm old.
Okay. Definitely, totally agree with that. Like planning and preparations is like truly important, not only for business, like almost for anything, like to get ahead in life. So, thank you so much for sharing on such a insightful thoughts, valuable thoughts, like with us, especially for the young people who have tuned in with us today. So we will now move on to the Q&A session where we'll be answering some of the questions from participants. So
Okay.
I will ask some of the pre-submitted questions from the participants. So the first question is, how to get idea for social media postings?
Oh, I don't think I'm the best person to ask for that because I'm always cracking my head. So, uh, I generally just look around me for inspiration. I would say, I'll be very honest. I don't think I'm very well versed in like being creative on social media or finding new ways to engage people. But I would just use the information I have around me. And I mean, there's a lot of ways you can just Google and find out, like how to make compelling social media posts or how to, do certain things like that. But I guess myself personally is um, certain things or events throughout life will just sort of just like give you a light bulb moment, and it's just something you want to do, and then I'll just do that. Yeah. So I I don't think like I have any method to finding my ideas for social media. And like I said, I'm very honest, I think I'm very bad at it. But it's a constantly learning process, I guess, for me. Like always finding out, how do I take a picture? Because I feel like I suck at taking pictures for posting on social media, or like starting this game of the month thing is yeah, it was just a random thought that just occurred to me. I was thinking, okay, how am I going to like maintain my customers, because it's easy for people to forget you, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, yeah, what's a way that I could get like engagement that also would you know keep my brand presence in their mind, at the back of their mind, so that they would feel like they want to order again and stuff like this. So that I kept thinking about it. I Googled around, and then I found out that that there's Instagram competitions. We've all heard of this, but then I've also found out there's some people that do it like monthly, right? And I think, oh, okay, that's cool. And then how would I make it different, right? Because I don't want to do those like follow, like, share, those just like that, right? So I thought, why not make it a game? So then every month I just have to think of a new game for it. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for answering that. So the second pre-submitted question is, what are the hardships of maintaining your business?
The hardships, I guess, is dealing with like the financial aspect, and also like my personal expectations and where it should be right now. Like I said, it's not easy, right? Like, people don't assume like just start a business and you're immediately making money. It's not. Most of the time, you're spending more, reinvesting back into the business constantly. So yeah, I guess that's a big aspect of being able to like um, like you would think like, oh, okay, you set your goals, right? Maybe I want to sell like 10,000 bottles or something, but they have to be realistic, and it's not always that you achieve them. And dealing with that expectations in a healthy way, I think is really important. Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for answering that. So that's all like the pre-submitted questions from the participants. So I really thank you for your insights, Morgan. So dear audience, that was Morgan from Zangabir sharing about his experiences at Tauke Talks, brought to you by RYSE and supported by Citi Foundation. So if you want to follow and know more about Zangabir and the business that Morgan is doing, so please follow their social media accounts on Facebook as well as on Instagram. So as you can see on the screen, these are the social media handles for Zangabir. So I hope you all feel inspired and motivated after listening to the new skills and knowledges from Morgan's sharing today. So as Morgan shared just now, before you start your business, please make sure that you do your proper research and planning so that you can go take control of your business and then accomplish what you really want to do out of your business. So before we end this session, I would like to share about RYSE's latest program currently. And currently, we have RYSE Online 2022. So as Morgan shared just now, so RYSE Online is a free online course that equips you with the basics of entrepreneurship. So you can stand a chance to win up to RM 2,500 by submitting a business pitch. So sign up for RYSE Online via bit.ly/RYSE Online 2022. And we also have Kecil Kecil Cili Padi competition. So it's a competition hosted by RYSE for Malaysian youths to tell stories about employability through comics. So stand a chance to win up to 3,000 by submitting a comic today. So for more info, visit bit.ly/Kecil Kecil Cili Padi. So we also have upcoming RYSE with the sessions. So the upcoming one is on problem solving 1.0. So if you would like to know the ways to solve your problems through the approach of design thinking, don't forget to sign up for this session, which is happening this Saturday, starting from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it's completely free of charge. And we also have and we also have this upcoming RYSE with a session, and don't forget to sign up for it. And if you would like to learn more about upcoming Tauke Talks session, please like and follow us at Tauke Talks on Facebook and Instagram. And to find out more about RYSE and our upcoming programs, please like and follow us on our social media accounts. And thank you everyone for coming, and see you next time, Morgan. We wish you all the best for your future undertakings and endeavors in your business. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for it.
Audio Jungle.